Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm just printing out a few more things for the class. A couple of more little things I want to bring up. Very exciting. Just going to wait for everybody to jump on before we go too much into the topic for today, which is the violet flame. Hello. If you're here, please just let me know with a heart or smiley face or whatever you want. Fantastic. I'm at the command center right now of the violet flame, just saying. I am, in typical fashion, going down a rabbit hole. So this topic is unbelievable for me. And I'm so excited to share it with all of you. And I'm really thinking I am going to turn this into a course. Because to try and do it even in one class is just a taste. It's really just a taste. Hi, Patty. How are you? So, but I'm really excited, very excited about this topic and dive deep into it and share some light and wisdom. And also hi, Dawn. Also just to get people familiar with it so that you can all start using it. That's my main intention, is that people get familiar and comfortable with the violet flame and that they can start working with it. That's what it's all about for me, guys. So I'm going to just go ahead. I know everybody's popping on, but if you could just let me know you're here, that would be wonderful. And then we're going to get started. Very exciting. I see myself there. Okay, good. So we're on. Yay. Okay. Hi, Val. Val's here too. Amazing. So how's everybody doing? I actually, Val and I were talking earlier, and wish I'd said in the chat earlier that if you do, and I'll explain how everything's going to flow today, so it'll be plenty of time to do this, but if you happen to have any crystals that are of a violet or even darker violet color, we will be using them later, but it's not necessary. So I just thought it would be a fun thing to, add in for all of us. Okay, great. So hello, everybody, and welcome. I'm so excited about this topic today. It's just near and dear to my heart, and also things I feel like I'm still learning about in the I literally was up last night intersecting with all the information there is. Hi, Candace, around not just the violet flame, but all of the different masters that are connected to the violet flame and working with it. So I'm so excited about it. Okay, so let's get started because I love that you're all here. I'm so excited to get going, and I'm going to go through essentially what I'm, the bullet points of what I'm going to be talking about today, and then we're going to take a little short break. And we're going to be doing a guided journey, a healing journey with the violet flame so you can experience it. So everybody knows me now, but my name's Carrie Koss, and I'm very excited to have you all here. I am going to let you know a little bit about me, and then in case anyone's new, and if anyone has any questions throughout, just feel free to put it in the chat. I'll probably wait until I'm done with each section to sort of answer questions, but I would love for all of you guys to interact and chat, especially about the violet flame. So my name's Carrie Koss. I'm a intuitive channel and spiritual teacher, and this is our community here, Souls Fellowship, and we're really, I would say, a spiritual community that is focused on supporting one another with growth, awareness, and understanding. And so we have different healers, teachers, experts, and wonderful humans that come in here and share this space. And so that's really what we're about. So there's always offerings going on throughout the week. Often there's a little pop-up class like this. And so that's essentially who we are. So welcome. So, all right, today, shall we go right into it? The violet flame. This is so exciting. This topic for me is one of those that I could literally, I think, do a PhD on the violet flame, a dissertation on the violet flame. It's so much more and it spreads throughout so much in our history for us as spiritual beings on the planet. And also there are many masters and experts and amazing people who've lived on the planet who have been connected with this great resource. And so it's just a phenomenal topic, and one that I cherish and I'm very excited about. And I will later reference the experts that I've gone to get a lot of my information, just to, of course, pay homage and give them credit where credit's due, definitely, as we go through this. And in case you want to also go in and start doing your own study of the violet flame. And yes, and I really feel like after I'm doing this, I'm going to do a course on this, probably a 4-week course on this, because this is just such a wonderful topic. So let me go into what we're going to be covering today. And so you know where we're headed and what our objective is. But my objective really for today is for you to have an understanding, or if you've already been aware and worked with the violet flame, to have another perspective and understanding of what this energy and essence is all about, how you can use it in your life for transformation, healing, and well-being on all levels, body, mind, spirit, and then just a greater awareness of it and of the masters connected with it and archangels. So that's really what the objective is for today. So this class will be, I think, about an hour in total. There's going to be 45 minutes about of just the topic itself. And then we'll take a short little break so everybody can get a glass of water or stretch. And then we're going to be going into an exercise, a journey with the violet flame, which I'm so excited about. And so we'll be doing that. So that's how it's going to go. So the first thing we're going to do, I'm going to talk about my experience with the violet flame and what drew me to it and interests me so much about it. Then we're going to be talking about essentially the scientific understanding, according to Sir Isaac Newton, about the violet ray and what that means here for us and its transformative qualities. Then we're going to talk a little bit about the religious sort of usage of the spiritual flame in history, more or less, just touching on that topic. Then we're going to be talking about the masters of the flame who work with the flame. So if you, in fact, yourself want to be in alignment with those masters, hey, Natalie, I'm glad you're here. And if you're wanting to like connect with those masters and download more about or have a deeper introspection about the violet flame, you can do that. And then, yes, so that's essentially what we're going to do with a few things added in there, okay? So, hello, everybody. Thanks for being here. So glad you're here. So, what drew me personally to the violet flame? So, my background truly is, as I've been drawn to, when I was 18, 19, I started experiencing pretty severe panic attacks. And so I was looking for ways that I could essentially relieve the stress of life and learn more about myself without medicating myself. Now, of course, I'm a total supporter of medication if that's your journey completely. And at that point, I just knew that I didn't need that avenue at that point in my life. And so I was looking more for other alternatives, holistic alternatives. So my entrance into the spiritual psychic world actually started with energy healing. And so I just had a real, I started training on mindset, and then also I got deeper into some beginning energy techniques, not specifically like Reiki, that wasn't my journey, but other ways to essentially transmute energy with my intention and with lining up with spirit. This is what I knew of it. And I didn't at that time know what the violet flame was. I hadn't had that experience yet. So my whole orientation towards energy work and healing and well-being is always through that point of entrance, which is energetic, okay? Frequency, vibration, transmutation. So that's my entry point. Okay, that's how it all got introduced to me. So fast forward in time, I've always used techniques to be able to transmute energy and move energy out, to be able to release and heal and align with my higher self, and then the I am consciousness, which we'll be talking more about today. So I was already very prone to being open to this information. And I'd heard a little bit about the violet flame and it made sense to me, but I didn't have a real experience with it necessarily. So, and this is the thing about, for me, when you're learning a new spiritual concept or a technique or anything that you're lining in, I love, of course, theory, and I love knowing about theology, and I love a deep study. And my main entryway and what I like to teach my students is to have an experience with the principle that you're learning, or the technique you're learning, or the higher master you're working with, or the archangel, or if you're channeling, what have you. It's all got to be, it for me starts with your experience, having a direct experience. So that's really what I'm here for that. So here's what happened in a nutshell of how it swung around to me. I was in a class last year, which was amazing, with a Lightworkers Lab. Hey, Val. Yes, experiential learning is the best. And that's really my focus with all the work I do with my students. So that's just a little bit in a nutshell. For me, something super abstract just doesn't work. I can know about theories and I can understand them intellectually, but that's not going to make the difference for me. So what happened is I was in this amazing class with the Light Shine Academy, and I was learning about channeling, a more in-depth course on that. And so one of the sections was we were to meet the Ascended Masters, okay, to start working with their vibration. So for me, during that time and during that session, I was approached by Saint Germain, which we will be getting more into him, because he's completely like the master of the violet flame and is able to work with all of us. So we will go more into him. This is sort of how it went for me. So what happened with me is he then, in that interaction, handed me his symbol, which I will show you a photo of later. It's essentially the 4 crosses all linked together. And what it represents, and we'll go more into that, is basically healing and transmutation. Okay, that's the first thing. The second thing, he asked me to read all of Dolores Cannon's books. And I think everybody here knows about Dolores Cannon, but just in case you don't, essentially Dolores Cannon was a master professional hypnotherapist who discovered and curated a technique on how to take clients, have them have an experience with their past lives. Okay, so, and bring through content. But that was really for healing, integration, transmutation, right? So my introduction, again, from coming into looking at past lives and then kind of looking at these symbols and working with him, really came from my vantage point, which was for healing, okay? Transmutation, energy work. The other point for me is that earlier in the summer last year, I was downloaded, essentially given a technique that I'll be working on and introducing with Archangel Raphael, which had to do with transmuting layers of karma that are found in the body, okay? Body, mind, and spirit. Okay, so let's tag that on, right? These little layers. That's how the masters work with us, right? They start to bring us pieces of things, and then we start integrating them. This is my experience, and this is what I feel like it happens for people, because to get it all at once, we would ascend right to the next level, but we're learning, right? So we're getting pieces of these things, right? Okay. So that was my experience. And so what happened from there is then the violet flame was just a natural tool that was running around in my consciousness. And so what I started noticing is when I was doing healing work with students and when I was reading people, the violet flame just kept showing up over and over and over again. And for transmuting and helping heal a lot of these denser energies that are surrounding people right now. Okay, so we'll put a pin in that, right? All right, now, so that's my experience with the violet flame so far. I know there's a lot more to come, and so I'm just excited for the journey. So again, that's my personal introduction. So next, what I'm going to do is just kind of talk to you a little bit about the science of the violet flame. So one thing to note is that just like a prism, there are in the universe with the naked eye, we can see different colors, different shades. Now, I apologize. I actually had a nice little slideshow planned for you guys, but it didn't all come together for a variety of reasons, but we're just going to keep going on with that, okay? I have plenty of other tools to use. So I'm going to just show you this prism here, which is essentially a rainbow, okay? So what we can see from this, and this is with the naked eye, the various shades, which happen to be 7, just note that, and for future reference, that what we can see in this 3-dimensional world with our human eye, okay? Keeping it simple. So what happens is once we get down to the violet section, violet is the highest color that you can see with your human eye before it transmutes and dissolves into white light. Okay? So just feel into that, first of all. Instead of it being, we're not going back to chemistry class, we're just feeling the vibration of that. Okay? So that's the first thing to note. Okay, so everything around us is essentially made of matter. All right? And there's atoms, there's matter. Everything has a vibration and everything has a frequency, just like the violet flame, okay? So the intent, that's about as far as we're going to go with the science end of it, because I feel like, okay, good, we could go down that rabbit hole and again, write another dissertation. But essentially what happens in our human form, as we go through our lives and as we go through multiple lives, we acquire and accrue karma in our body, mind, and soul. And this is not meant to be a judgment of right or wrong, good or bad, punishment. This is just meant to be that we carry the suits of the human frame with us, often energetically, okay? So, and what this can do to our spiritual light, our higher self, our beingness, is it can weigh us down. And it can also really block us from our higher selves and the wisdom of light. And I have some really great illustrations to show you in a moment about that. So let's right now enter into how different religions throughout history have referenced the light, okay, using a spiritual flame. So first of all, the violet flame truly is it's a spiritual flame, okay? It doesn't have any heat to it. It's essentially a tool for alchemizing and transmutation, all right? So, and the religious usages for the spiritual flame have been noted to be cleansing, purifying, and alchemizing, okay? And I have a reference to that here as well. So here in the violet flame of fire, the angel of the Lord appeared to Moses. And out of that flaming flame was Moses' contact with his own higher consciousness. Based on that experience, he told the children of Israel, the Lord thy God is a consuming flame. Okay. All right. The Zohar, an important work of the Jewish Kabbalah, affirms that there exists a sort of fire which is stronger than other fire, above the white light and encompassing it in yet another light, this one symbolizing the supreme essence. Isn't that gorgeous? Okay, and then a few more titles here. Again, we could just do like so many weeks of a course in this. Love it. Okay, so Christianity contains similar references to fire. Jesus said, I am come to send fire on the earth. The Christian mystics spoke of fire. The Spanish mystic St. John of the Cross was inwardly transformed in the living flame of love. Such is the activity of the Holy Spirit in the soul, he writes. The interior acts he produces shoot up flames, for they are acts of inflamed love. Okay? So the violet flame is the fire of the Holy Spirit. The violet flame is the fire of the Holy Spirit. We say that again. Now let's take all religious text out of this completely and just purely go from the stance of knowing what that means for us on a spiritual level. Okay. We have access to the violet flame around every portion of our awareness on this earth plane. It is simply not something that's extracted in front of us, or it is a part of us and literally is in our breath and in our thoughts and all around us. The matter, the density of pain, trauma, shadow selves, past lives, other negative energies we have surrounding us is what makes it difficult for us to absorb and acquire the qualities of the violet flame. You see? So break that down just for a minute. Okay. All right. This is getting good. Okay. So now let's talk about the masters of the flame. Whoop, whoop. This is so exciting. Honestly, there's so many. And so we're going to play homage to a few of them who tend to work with the flame, including one of the archangels. All right. So let's just start first with the most well-known, and that is the beloved Saint Germain. Okay. Let's just talk a little bit about who Saint Germain was, what we know about him as the human, just through history and what many of what's been passed down to us, but also who he is as an ascended master for us right now on this planet. Now, first of all, let's just say, what is an ascended master? Let's just break it down really easily. Okay, I think most of us know what an ascended master here in this group is, but essentially, an ascended master is a being that has incarnated many times on the earth plane. And I should say, they are available to us as a connector, unifier, as a bridge, as a guide, as a mentor, friend, intimate, to help us on our spiritual journey on the earth. Okay. They're not meant to be worshipped. They're not meant to be idolized. They're not meant to be revered. They're really meant to emulate to us who we are inside. Okay. And the thing about Saint Germain, he really wants all of us to know that. He does not want us to in any way worship him. Okay. That basically Saint Germain is, and I'll talk more about him in the history. His whole energy is like, you're the master. You're the master. You're the master. He does not want any of us worshiping him or putting him higher up than anyone. Okay, so that's been made abundantly clear to me, both from him and also from these other people who I'm going to mention who've had many more experiences than I've had with him on this earth plane. So this is where it gets really juicy and we get down the rabbit hole, which again, I honestly feel like I could study this for years. That's how interesting it is to me personally. Okay, I digress. Okay, so what I'm going to tell you, I'm going to show you first a picture of Saint Germain, several, but then I'm going to tell you a little story to let you know a few of his incarnations, because he doesn't like us to dwell on that. He's made that really clear to me. Don't dwell on what I've already done. Dwell on who the energy of who I am now, because that's what you're becoming. Okay. So first of all, you should know he is the usher of the Aquarian age. He is your guide and most loving teacher and parent, I will say, who throws you out of the nest spiritually and has you ascend to your highest places. So this is what is so phenomenal about him. And I think why I adore him so much is because, first of all, he has a really great sense of humor every time I've interacted with him energetically. And also he's not going to over provide you with so much information that you worship him. So he definitely has that. And also I think we all love Saint Germain. He's just like, I once referred to him as a party in a box, and I don't want to limit him to that, but he definitely has that jovial, playful energy. Okay, here's some of the lives that he's lived. Okay. And don't get FOMO when you start hearing about all the cool stuff he's done, because remember, you can do it too. So here's the photo I have of him, and I'm going to show you. This is, an oracle card I have of him. And you guys know this probably from Kyle Gray. who is an angel teacher. Saint Germain. Okay. Then I'm going to show you the more Anglican version of him. Again, this is kind of like that Jesus thing. To me, it's like, yes, he was probably European in descent, but he was also had many lives with many different skin colors. So can we please move away from these images? But I'm just going to show you because everyone's familiar with this. Saint Germain. Okay. But then I'm going to later refer to you, because I think it's important, about a man who's on the planet right now named Peter Mount Shasta. And we'll talk about him because his story is so cool with Saint Germain. But anyway, and his version of Saint Germain is, he showed up to me in the woods looking like that. But when he came on, later showed himself to me in 3D, he had dark skin and dark curly hair. So let's just put that into the framework as we're talking. All right, so who was Saint Germain? All right, so first of all, we don't even know, because obviously, do we have accurate history given to us? No. But this is what is known about him so far. So Saint Germain has been known to... He's had many incarnations as a human. And in one lifetime, he was, which I know all of us were as well, many of you, all of you, he was a high priest of the violet flame on the Temple of the Mainland in Atlantis. Okay, 13,000 years ago. Doesn't surprise me at all. He was also known to be the prophet Samuel from the Old Testament. His life also includes where he was Saint Joseph and Plato. That's a big one, but it doesn't surprise me. The Saint Alban, the first martyr of Britain. This is, I think, personally, one of the coolest lives he's lived, which was Merlin, which is, again, alchemy, which we'll talk more about in a minute. And then we have Roger Bacon and Sir Francis Bacon. Okay, so that's more about his past lives. And when I check in with his vibration now, he's like, yeah, I did all that, sure. Now he's like, what are you going to do? That's what he does. Oh, I love him. Okay, so essentially, Saint Germain is really, I would call him Merlin. I know, isn't that awesome? Yeah, I mean, and it totally makes sense for me. And that's because I think a lot of people feel that way. So anyway, I digress. Okay, so yeah, I want to talk about how he fought for the flame. Is that what I'm going to talk about? Okay, he's checking it. Okay, all right, here we go. So, I'm trying to think of how to go about what's the next step to best do this, because I want to talk about this one other piece. I'm just checking in. Okay. One second. I'm asking. Okay, all right. Let's talk about the I am. Okay, discourses. Okay, so I love storytelling. Don't you guys love stories? I love stories. Okay. Here we go. Hold your crystal. All right, so I can get with the energy. Okay, so first of all, this is such a cool story. All right, so, and this also ties in to the location where I personally live, and Dawn lives, and other of you have been here before. And also all my valley too, you too, because it's all sort of in the western region of the United States. So, okay, so there's so much that Saint Germain has done throughout history to basically, I could literally go on, this could be a mini series, where he's intervened and incarnated, because he's a master, so he can literally take on a body and do his work and then be gone and vanish, but transmute, transcend. He's been involved with when the Declaration of Independence was being signed. He was contacted Napoleon when he was about to make terrible decisions when it came to France. And just throughout time, he's been there to try and insert himself essentially for man and womankind, to be able to help and transmute and get Earth on the right direction. So he's a champion for the Earth plane and for all of us as humans. So you should know that, okay? He is just seriously inserts himself and wants to be able to help, all right? So that's what you need to know. And to be able to make things happen. So given that, he is really I'm holding my Merlinite. Oh, I wish you could see. You can take a picture and put it in there. Dawn says she's holding her Merlinite. I want to see that anyway. Okay. So isn't this a fun chat? I mean, I could just go on for days. This is so... All right. So here's what we know. Mount Shasta. Mount Shasta... there's so much there. Okay, so Mount Shasta has been known to be connected with the violet flame. Okay, we'll go more into these levels later. Suffice to say, in 1930, oh, awesome. In 1930, there was a gentleman whose name was, let me get his name down, Arthur Godfrey. Okay, 1930. And he was actually a civil engineer that was sent to be, I think, doing land surveying. Hi, Lexi. You are going there next month? Ooh, you've got to come back and tell us all about it, Mount Shasta. First of all, there's so much there. I want to do a retreat there. Would that be fun, you guys? Do you want to do that? Okay, I'll plan it. I'll plan that. Everybody come. I live in the area, so we'll make it happen. I mean, right. I know. Right. Oh, my God, Mount Shasta. So many things. Okay, I'm keeping it focused. All right, so imagine Arthur Godfrey is basically having, he goes with his family to live in the area of Mount Shasta. And that was because he was charged, he was an engineer, so he was charged with, his task was, I think, to do land surveillance, things like that. So this has happened more than on one occasion with Saint Germain, in that he pops up a tree. There would be amazing, Candace, I know. So he pops up in physical form. Often it has seemed in different places, but several times to several amazing people in that northern part of California. Okay. And so more about that, because I was born in that area. Anyway, oh my God. So, okay. So Arthur Godfrey, he is literally, leans down into a stream and he's drinking water and he looks up and there's a man standing there. And, the man said to him, I can give you, water that you'll never be thirsty again. Okay. And so what happened is, from that moment on, and there are a series of books written about this, about the I Am, and he wrote under a pen name of Godfrey, I'm trying to remember, I have it written down, sorry. His pen name is Godfrey Ballard. So his birth name is Guy Warren Ballard, okay? Imagine 1930, and I just want to remind you, and of all of us, what was going on the planet in 1930, right? Think about it. What was going on the planet in 1930? We were right on the edge of moving into a world war, okay? And where there would be more destruction on our sweet, sweet Mother Gaia planet. So just bring all this in, because this is like where I just totally nerd out, and I know all of you guys do too. Okay, so stick with me. Okay, so from that and over the next, I want to say like 5 to 7 years, Saint Germain had many transmissions and down. Just okay, how can I even describe it? He essentially brought on Guy Ballard as a student. And so Guy Ballard wrote, oh my God, so many books all about the Ascended Master's teachings. But then he also wrote about the I Am, okay? And this is all this goes back to like the I Am teachings, right? So what happened is, and it's so awesome, and then I'll tell you about what happened after this with another teacher, who's still alive on the planet. But anyway, so he not only introduced him and sort of explained to him how reality works, the levels of mastery, dimensions, and this huge library of information, because I want to say he's got like 7 or 8 books. Guy Ballard's wife also had her own experiences where she's written several books. So she was brought into this whole, experience as well. And so that whole series of books I will be diving deep into. But I just want to tell you that series of books was a series of books that affected Dr. Wayne Dwyer, you guys, and many teachers after that. If you think about it, that was so far ahead of its time. It's like early 1930s. So again, Mount Shasta, Guy Ballard, Godfrey Ballard, the Ascended Masters, the teaching, the I Am, the Violet Flame, transmutation. That the key to know here is that, again, Saint Germain is very much about not having things be a mystery. Okay, so if we go back, of course, with all of the mystery schools and the secret schools, all these lineages of, the series of books is called the I Am series, and I'm going to be putting and the author's name is Godfrey Ballard. Okay, guys, Godfrey Ballard. We're going to have to do a book club about it, I swear to God. So, yeah. And you can get those on Audible. I think you can get them on Amazon and whatnot. I know I have more information around here about it. Okay, so anyway. You ready? Okay. Trying to think of the next thing. Okay, so here's the thing. Saint Germain he is the usher. Good book club would be fun. People have been saying that, and I would love that. I mean, I have to just be honest, really quick sidebar. Like, my parents were in a book club for like 37 years with a couple other people, and they just had like the best time ever. And I just think it's fun. I mean, I don't like a pressure in reading a book, but I like maybe once every 6 weeks, right? And then we can discuss or something like that. Anyway, I digress. So back to Guy Ballard, Saint Germain. So Saint Germain is showing up, right, in a place, first of all, if you just look at California in general and that area where a lot of people in the New Thought movements were assembling, okay? So, and then we have Mount Shasta itself, which is just like a whole other, wonderland of energy, as we know, because it's a portal. And we already know it's connected to Lemuria, and also it's Telos, and we know all these things, okay? That's not for today. Book club would be fun, Melly says. Yay, Melly. Okay, so anyway, so what I understand, and I'm not going to be talking about this too much, is that our Saint Germain really is the usher of the Violet Flame, right? And so he wants everyone to get it. And so he's really bringing it out of the Piscean age of being coveted and in a secret mystery school, and East and West, you have to go through all these levels of ascension before you can even share this information, things like that. So what I love about Saint Germain, he's just blowing the lid off of all of that, because he realizes as a planet, we are suffering, and most of us cannot go to the East and meditate for 7 years and wait for ascension to come. That's just a passive way of bringing on that energy. And also, he gets that sense of urgency, okay? He gets that sense of urgency. So let's just, again, creating that landscape. So, okay, he's telling me which piece of the puzzle to go now. Okay. All right. Fast forward. And I just like to talk about this in terms of people that have been dealing with it and have written books about it. Because I think more study for you guys, the more study for all of us, the more we learn, the more we can share, the more we can share all this and grow. Okay. All right. So next, let's move forward to the 1960s, shall we? One of my favorite eras on this planet. There was a gentleman named Peter. I do not know his last name then, but I know his last name now is Mount Shasta, which honestly takes a lot of guts to say your last name's Mount Shasta, but love it. So, so we have all the series, and we have that release of that book's probably super like alternative, and I don't even know. That's probably why Guy Ballard wrote it under a pseudonym, because he didn't want people to know it was attached to him. So again, it's like this flame is continuing, this information has got to come down yet again. Okay. So because we have 30 years later, we have a new group of people 30, 40 years later. So this gentleman, here we go, is really searching for meaning in his life. He's just graduated college. He's looking for meaning in his life. And so he reads this book by Ram Dass. Okay. And Ram Dass, as you know, spiritual leader. And he was also like a really Western mind. I think he was educated at Harvard, same kind of thing. Wanted, to be enlightened and, probably travel with the Beatles and go to India and ascend. So essentially what Peter did is he thought, well, if Ram Dass is going to do it, I want to ascend too because I'm miserable in my life and I want to do something. So he went and tried to find meaning in India, had some awareness, but also really realized that, these masters were, essentially in these small, quiet areas with no one else around, and they were working on their ascension, separate from the rest of the world. No offense. This Peter came back to the Bay Area, and he was living in my hometown, Berkeley. I love it. And so he was basically saying he came and he was very, what do I do next? Okay, I've studied with some of these masters. I've gotten some things. What am I going to do? So he's in his house in Berkeley, and he hears this voice. And the voice says, meet me in Muir Woods. Okay, I know. This is so cool. Okay, wait. First of all, backtrack. He just decided, okay, I'm going to just ascend and leave the body. I'm just going to move on to the next dimension. This world is so crappy. I'm ready to move on. So he says to the masters, or all of them, he calls out to all of them, Jesus, Buddha, Kuan Yin, Krishna, called out to Saint Germain. And he says, okay, I'm ready to transmute. I'm ready to transcend. I'm ready to move on and leave the body and go on to the next place. So he hears this voice. And the voice says, go to Muir Woods. Now, some of you might know what Muir Woods is, but Muir Woods is a beautiful redwood forest in Northern California. Okay, so he said he went there really early in the morning, like 7 a.m, and he goes and it's actually a national park. So he even says this, it's really funny. He goes, yeah, I kind of broke the rules. I went out off the path and it was raining really hard that day. So I went to this redwood tree and I just kind of hunkered down and held myself there. And so he said he was doing an open eye meditation and he was chanting and doing one of his prayerful, mindful practices. And all of a sudden he looked down, he saw this pair of shoes. Okay. And he looked up and he saw this guy who was in his 30s, who probably looked a little bit like this. And so remember, it's pouring down rain. And he looks up and this guy didn't have a touch of water on him, not at all. And he said, so, my child, I see that you're I answered your call and I think we can fulfill that desire, but I want to show you something first. So he puts out his fingers and he touches him right at the third eye. And what happens? They start ascending together because masters do this, right? You can journey with them. So he took them up to a higher plane of consciousness, and where all he was seeing was light beings. So probably in a higher realm, probably up, way above his physical body, because he wasn't even seeing any bodies there. He was just looking at almost pure light beings. And so he said, oh yes, this is where I want to be. This is what I want to experience. I want to be here. And he just was feeling pure love and affinity. And he was like, I'm not even burdened by things like a car payment. He said this. I love this guy. Or how I'm going to make my mortgage or any of that. I'm free. And Saint Germain said to him, yeah, you're free. You're free. But then all of a sudden, Peter said he heard the sound of crying and wailing and suffering. And he heard that for a few minutes. And he said, what is that, Saint Germain? What is that? And Saint Germain said, that's the suffering of humanity. This makes me want to cry. That's the suffering of humanity. They are so in need of light and of healing and transmutation, And so Peter then realized that he made that choice of, I have to go back. I have to help. So he zapped back into his body. And I love this story. Okay, so then Saint Germain then left him with this and said, I will be with you. I will be available to teach you. But what you need to do, remember, he wasn't in Mount Shasta yet, you guys. He was still in Northern California, which is 3 hours from Mount Shasta. So he said, I want you to go to Mount Shasta, and I want you to go listen to the first teacher that will be there for you. So just go. So literally, this is how he was living. He just packed his stuff up right away and drove to Mount Shasta. And he said, I love the story. He goes into this cafe. And in the cafe, this guy, he was just, I think it was a waiter. He said, yeah, I just have to say I had this kind of spiritual experience, and I was asked to talk to this teacher that this person would be there. And literally the waiter said to him, oh, you need to go to Miss Pearl's house. True story. And so he was just like, okay, so I guess I'm going to Pearl's house. I mean, can you imagine at this point, you're probably like, this is so otherworldly. I'm just going to go to Pearl's house. So he gets the address to Pearl's house. And this is a small town. This is not a big city, Mount Shasta. He goes, he knocks on the door. This older woman, probably in her 60s, answers the door, Miss Pearl. And she opens the door and she says, I've been waiting for you. Is your name Peter? And he said, yes, my name's Peter. So he walks in the door. She comes in and she said, yes, I was meditating this morning and Saint Germain said to me there would be a student arriving named Peter. So long story short, I just want you to guys know Peter is still alive. And Peter then also went, his name is Peter Mount Shasta. He's probably like 80 years old. He's a total hippie, my kind of guy. And he has had an adult lifetime. Oh, you did? You read his books? Oh, that's great, Candace. We're still on the same page, Candace. Yes, so all these months later then, years later, he's still embedded with Saint Germain. But Saint Germain, he says to him, does not have him rely on him for all of this. And so he gets a lot of his wisdom from Pearl. Now, Pearl has passed on to the spirit world, but that just goes to show you, let's just bring this all the way back down to what this all means, right? Saint Germain, and then I'll also talk about his constituents, his team of females and also Archangel. This tool is really here for us to utilize on a very practical level and a very grounded level. And so, this is meant for us to be our own ascended masters. That's just going to show you how this works. And, I believe in the tradition of mystery schools completely. And yet why make it a mystery if humanity is suffering? That doesn't make any sense. So that's why I'm talking about the violet flame today, you guys. Okay, so first of all, there's that. And then the last thing I want to talk about in a huge amount of work, a body of work, just a massive amount of body of work, is Elizabeth Clare Prophet. And I just like to give people props. I mean, obviously. And this is a lot of the book. Sorry, this is backwards. I'm sure many of you have read it. I would recommend getting it on the violet flame. So let me tell you a little bit about her, and then we'll talk about the masters. And then how am I doing for time? It's probably already like 11:30. Ooh, okay. We'll give this another 10 minutes. Then in 10 minutes, we'll take a break, okay? Then we'll do the meditation. I love this. Okay. We're doing good, guys? Oh, this is such an interesting topic. Karma, releasing karma, lords of karma. Oh my God, the Chohans. This is just such a good topic. Okay. So fast forward into now. This is probably, I want to say, Elizabeth Clare Prophet. Probably it was almost similar time, actually, maybe to Peter. Probably so. Okay. So Elizabeth Clare Prophet and her husband, oh my gosh, I forget his name. It's right. Someone can tell me. But anyway, forgive me because she's the one who sticks out in my mind the most. But anyway, Elizabeth Clare Prophet now, she's passed away. She would probably be in her 80s now. I think she died in 2012 or 2011, maybe sooner. But anyway, so she also had a very intimate connection with Saint Germain and the Violet Flame. And literally they have built a whole organization around it called the Summit lighthouse. Okay, so I am not much of a, full disclosure, I'm not much of a joiner of churches or groups, and I don't believe it's a church. But so not everything's in alignment. So I don't want to say yes, please go study there. Okay, because I believe in sovereignty and dominion, and so I don't tend to align myself with one group. But I do love what the homage they brought to the Violet Flame and how many resources they have. I mean, oh my gosh. So they have a lot of books. So I'd really recommend them. Anyway, Elizabeth Clare Prophet and her husband, both very much dedicated to the not only Saint Germain's teachings, how they can be utilized in life, and also how the Violet Flame can be used. Okay, phenomenal information, meditations, and then really moving into what the I am consciousness. Okay, so some of the charts I'm going to show you guys have to do with that came from this. So I just want to, again, let you know. So they have some tremendous things. And she also, too, read Godfrey's books. And it's funny because she has a story where she talks about where she went out, she was about to leave for college. And I think her mother was very spiritual person, too, more of a spiritualist. And she literally has a story where she says, okay, Holy Father, she was definitely she's more from a Christian background, but Christian Scientist. So I think so. So she said, okay, I really, really want to, is there anything I need to know before I leave this house? And I go off into the world and study and do my thing. What should I do? And I guess her mother had a huge library, a huge, huge, huge library. And so she went into the library and literally, like it happens, this book flew off the shelf. And so she picked it up and she said she curled up on a chair, put her legs over the chair. I just got the visual of that, and sat and read that book, from the first page to the last page, just consuming it. And it was the I Am books. It was the one by Godfrey. And so again, it's like there's the teachings made for all, connecting us all and keeping us in good steed, so it's not like a mysterious bit of information, and he keeps bringing it forth again and again and again, especially now. So he's sharing all that information. So anyway, so she's got a tremendous amount. They have a lot of information when it comes to, especially they do a lot of incantations and invocations when it comes to invoking the Violet Flame, which I love, and I'm going to use some of that in our meditation together. But here's this comes from their site. So this is a mantra or affirmation that Saint Germain provided them, because I think her husband was a real channel. And so I think he also spoke with Saint Germain, as he's available to all of us. He's very auditory for me, so I really hear him when he shows up. But again, he just shows up when he wants to show up. That's how he is, how it is. He doesn't want codependency. So the mantra or affirmation Saint Germain has provided to all of us to transmute personal, planetary, past errors or pains in any of the lifetimes and timelines through thoughts, feelings, and action is saying the I am. Okay? So there's no disconnection between you, your higher self, and the Holy Flame. Okay? The Holy Spirit. So therefore, just like Moses, you claim yourself to be the I am. I am part of the Violet Flame. I am higher consciousness. I am at one with the Creator. I am healed. Okay, so that's the basis. I'll go more into that in a moment. But here is the invocation, and this is so powerful. I am a being of violet fire. I am the purity God desires, or universe. And they do a lot of repetition and invocation. It's just like that chanting, and they also have a certain vibration in which they say it. So they keep it, and that literally in and of itself, much like Saint Germain, transmutes energy. Okay? I am the violet flame in action in me now. I am the violet flame. To light alone I bow. In mighty cosmic power, I am the light of God, shining every hour. I am the violet flame. Blazing like a sun, I am God's sacred power, freeing everyone. So just vibrationally, even when when that is spoken, speaking the word from the higher dimensions and bringing it down into the physical already brings through that beautiful violet light and flame just to transmute and remove any disconnection between you and the Holy Spirit, or you and the divine, or you and the all that is. Any separation, that's just dissolves. Okay. And also, they're using the violet flame in a way literally like an affirmation. And that's why I'm wearing my purple shirt today, just to be reminded, my violet shirt, just because you can embody it in all places where you are. In your car, at work, when you're in the shower, when you're with friends, anytime. We're going to be working on that more too. Okay? All right. So, let's talk a little bit before we move on about Lady Portia. Because Lady Portia is the the divine feminine counterpart of Saint Germain, okay? And she has a continuum of ways that she connects, and is definitely more, for me, shows up still as being this ever-loving presence of justice and mercy. Okay, so I'm going to show you Kyle Gray's picture of Lady Portia. Now, of course, we have our own, but you can see how she is surrounded by the violet energetic frequency. Okay, and I'm going to, because I was compelled, read you a little bit about her, and then I have also some of her incarnations because we want to give her props. Okay, so here we go. And this is, I'm getting this from a source that oh my goodness, name Dana Ackerman, which I feel is on point and feel in vibration with. So here we go with, again, ways that she has shown up in our system and also our planet for us. Okay, so again, she is the female counterpart of the seventh ray, the violet ray. She is the daughter of the royal family of elements, water in Atlantis. And I love this, in her third incarnation. See how that resonates for you. She was an inhabitant of one of the temples in Egypt dedicated to Isis. Yes. She was the daughter of an emperor in China, Lady Portia. She was also, and this one I just love, Lemurian priestess in a temple of the great goddess. She was in the Australian outback in unity with Mother Nature. She was a priestess of the sea goddess in Iceland and in Ireland. Isn't that beautiful, you guys? And also, what? Morgan Le Fay, sister of Merlin. Now that makes sense to me. An Albion, and she was also, she was Wotana. She was a wife of a Sioux chief. But also, this is what's really interesting, is they say she's Maha Chohan, which Chohan, as you guys know, are the masters, the angelic realm of the, they're the lords of karma. So that's a whole nother topic. So interesting. Great. Good to know about the book club. Okay. Mohan Chohan is a function executed by an ascended master for a certain amount of time. Each age, each shift in a culture, each rise and downfall of a culture is assisted by another master. The Maha Chohan is the assistant and inspiration for the seven rays, which we talked about, okay, and which executes this function, inspires and conforms to the time quality of the moment, okay? Okay, that's something different. All right, so anyway, that's a little bit about her vibration, but let me read a little bit about from Kyle about Our Lady Portia, okay? So, Our Lady Portia, she's a powerful goddess and is a figure of justice and peace. She brings order and opportunity to every experience as a lord of karma, okay? She also regulates the law of cause and effect. She helps us recognize the impact of our judgments, choices, and actions on ourselves and the world. She's the twin flame of Saint Germain, so is strongly connected to the violet flame energy. Together, these twin flames can work as overseers of legal situations. Justice is an energy that's about honoring everyone involved rather than punishing bad behavior. Lady Portia helps us to do what is right morally and spiritually for our soul's growth. Okay, so we having fun? Everybody doing good? So I'm going to talk to you about one more thing, and then let's just take a 10-minute break, and everybody can stretch, and then we're going to move into the journey work. Yeah, love it. Okay, this is so much fun. Oh my God. Okay, so the one thing I want to talk to you about, which I don't know a lot about, but many of you know about Tara, the green Tara, okay? And also the white Tara and the different vibrations in her incarnations that is connected to Hinduism, okay? So Peter Mount Shasta has written a book and has done some work with the violet Tara. And again, I really feel like any time when you're getting these colors and vibrations, and when you have angelic frequencies and angelic frequencies. Sorry, it's definitely time for a 10-minute break. Anytime when you have, you're working with masters or archangels or goddesses or elementals of any type, often you're seeing a color vibration, and usually that's a really good sign of what you're working on, what vibration you're working on, what frequency you're working on, what ray you're working on. It's not always definitive, but it can really help, okay? So one thing to note, just because I feel like especially the feminine masters are coming out from behind the shadows now as we're dissolving this patriarchy and moving into the Aquarian age, that these wonderful female teachers and imprints of part of our awareness and our consciousness are coming to work with us. So Peter has a whole book, I think he wrote, and vibrational meditation with the violet Tara. I say always Tara because it's Tara, but either way. So isn't that exciting, you guys? And I haven't worked with it yet, but I'll definitely get back to you and let you know how that goes. But I just want to pay her also homage because I feel like this is all just part of the same thing, is that they're coming to us so that we can heal. We can transcend and become ascended masters ourselves, but release a lot of the density and move through these heavier bits of karma that are weighing us down, okay? Now, before we take our 10-minute break, and I put this also inside of the Facebook page. I was trying to do it as a file attachment, a little bit of back-end choppiness there, but I want to show you an image. And this image is actually from the the Summit. It's actually taken from the Violet Flame book, so I want to source it. I'm going to show you guys. I'm not sure what page it's on, but I have a picture, and you guys can print it out. Yes, it's on page 127. And this is what we're going to move into in our second part. So this is called Uniting with the Divine Self. Now, the one I printed out has women all over it, just want to say. But this one has Christ. But they also really reference Buddha and Krishna and things like that. So take a look at this just for a moment. Okay? And what I want you to do is imagine this is you right here. Okay? There's your earthly body. And then right around you, you have your light body is surrounding you. And as we move up, we have our higher selves. I really wish I had the female version to show you on a picture, but it's there in the thing. Anyway, and then we move up to the one, the all am, connected to the I am. And you can see the direct line of how this works. Now, I want to say, when I went to channel, I looked at this, I don't know when I looked at it the first time, but when I was channeling the meditation for what to do, you know what I got? This came through the white pyramid. It was more of a pyramid, the one we're going to be doing. But that's exactly what we're going to be doing. So it's just connecting in. You can see how the violet rays move all the way out, okay? Of the violet, with all the rays, okay? But again, we're connecting, that's shining a bit, there we go, with the I am, the all that I am, which is essentially our, soul group and beyond. Then we're moving into higher self, and then right down into ourselves and into the heart right here. And even if you go closer, there's also, you can see there are these different frequencies here. Because what I'm getting in the very center of our heart chakra, there is a gold center, a golden vibration. And so Side note. So anyway, all right. So that's enough for the moment. Let's take a 10-minute break. And if you happen to have any crystals that are of a violet color, look at my spirit one. Oh my God, I got to show you guys this one. I just got it. And it has all, it's, calcifying down there, but isn't that beautiful? Oh, I love me some spirit quartz. Now, you don't have to have this. This is just another added thing. Okay, so, okay guys, 10-minute break. I'm going to pop right back on here, put a pin in it, get yourself some dreads, get nice and cozy, then we're going to do a guided journey, okay? Yay! Okay guys, I'll see you in about 10 minutes. All right, bye.